Welcome to Crimson Guitars. We have a rather interesting instrument that's come into the workshop this week, and I thought I'd have to show you. Now, you've clicked on the link, you've seen the headline, and the headline says in bold capital letters, "Fake Gibson Les Paul." And that is what we have. The instrument came in, the case looks a little bit weird. It says Gibson Custom on it, but it's not a standard Gibson case. And I opened it and it looks shiny. And the client said, what do you think then? And I said, oh, yeah, let's take a little bit of a closer look. And from a couple of feet away, this looks like a really, really good guitar. It's, pretty, and you will see. But there are a few things wrong with it. And we all know nowadays that we can buy a mass-produced guitar for a couple £100, and it uses solid wood. They're not made with plywood or MDF very much anymore. And the frets are nice and solid, and the finish is nice and shiny, albeit a little bit thick. And essentially, what you're buying for your couple £100 is a very good base from which to start. Where they stint is the electronics and the hardware and the setup and the fretwork and that sort of stuff. And this guitar is no different. But anyway, I thought you would be interested to see exactly what it looks like in this case. So let's check it out. So this is what came in. That looks like a poorly screen printed logo. And obviously this is not a standard Gibson case. It's got too much give in it. And obviously it's not brown and lovely. Now look at that. My first impression is, ooh, wow, that looks great. It's got lovely inlays, plasticky nut, and it says kind of all the right things on there. And let me turn it over. It says the right things on there too. Although no doubt a little bit of research will tell you different. But if you look at the wood, it looks like really nice wood. Try and focus properly. It looks like good quality mahogany. And the finish is nice and shiny. That doesn't seem right. That's too thin and flimsy, and it just doesn't have the right sort of finish. But in general, first impressions are that this is a really lovely Gibson Les Paul. But let's look a little closer. So these tuners, the tuners have been faked. I can't believe that they've gone through this much effort and only charged £150. The finish has got a bit of a feel to it, as you can see in that reflection. Yeah, these, they work okay. They work really well, actually. More on the back plates, you can see that these screws aren't properly recessed, and they're domed screws. They're not very comfortable, and it just doesn't look right. But back to flipping her over. The inlays are plastic, emphatically plastic, mother of toilet seat, that stuff. They've done the binding properly with those nibs over the end, but the binding's very yellow, isn't it? And it just doesn't seem particularly refined. Now, while I'm saying all of this, I know for certain that a lot of you are going to be saying, well, Gibsons these days aren't particularly refined either. But, and that is true. But, yeah. One of those things. A little scratchy, but not too bad. We'll go inside the cavity in a bit. And obviously the pickups are definitely going to be wrong. I don't like the nut. And that's very plasticky and rubbish as well. But here's something that is very obviously not very well thought out. Again, with the poor screen printing, the quality of that, the Les Paul writing is wrong, and that bell shape again is just, it's just wrong. It's strange, and anybody who knows their Gibsons would actually obviously immediately pick it out. But for somebody who doesn't, and this is the real problem, for somebody who doesn't, it's a travesty, frankly. Now that inlay there, I don't know if you can actually see, I'm trying to see the pearlescence. It looks to me like it actually is, well, it looks real, basically. Nice and shiny like real pearl. The switch is good quality, surprisingly. One of the things that I suspect we will see that is immediately obvious is the truss rod. So our truss rod cover is a bit rubbish, and I can't actually see the end of the truss rod at all. It's been painted over. Can you see that? Okay, I'm going to do a close-up now. So the second you take something off, you start to see the flaws. And the finishing in there is just terrible, and they have masked over the truss rod with masking tape and left it masked. And also, this is a standard modern truss rod with a 4mm Allen key, rather than the crazily annoying standard Gibson fare that we normally have. So yeah, if you're in doubt, check the truss rod. Anyway, I'm going to take the strings off so we can have a look at what is going on inside. So the strings are off, and what I'm most interested in, I really am wondering if this has a photo flame finish, which is where they take a photograph of a nice figured top and then glue that photograph onto a carved surface, or if it's real flamed wood. It's got a blemish over near the knob, the controls over there, and that looks like it's real, but by gum, it looks real. This really looks real. I'm just going to scrape a little bit away from the side just to get a feel of the wood. Yeah, it's basically got a thick maple top, or at least a thick white wood top. It might not actually be the flamed maple. It might still have a photo on there, but it looks like it's real flame to me. It really does, which is strange. I mean, that's expensive stuff. And the pickup, it is definitely not a standard Gibson pickup, but it is an Epiphone, or at least it's been faked as an Epiphone. Yeah. Another thing, if you're not too sure if a guitar is real, open the pickups up and have a look. If it's got a plasticky looking thin little wire like that, chances are it's not real. I'm surprised. I'm surprised at that wood, frankly. Now, the controls. Several other things that I notice on here immediately, as well as this being flimsy and rubbish, is you can see on the edge where they've sanded through both the stain and the lacquer and gone straight down to the wood, and that's not good. Gibson's, there's sometimes a plate in there. They do sometimes use connectors like this, but these pots are not CTS. They are not nice. Let's take you in closer. Look at that rubbish. For a second I was going to say they don't have capacitors, but yes they do. That little green thing in there, that is a capacitor that will cost me probably 1 or 2 pennies. It's not an orange drop, which is what you would expect. So I suppose the easiest thing for you to do to check to see whether a guitar is real or not is to have a look at the electronics. CTS pots, or if you buy our guitars, a Bournes or something, and good quality big capacitors. But again, looking at this wood, it just looks real. They've gone and they've got real good quality wood. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. The fretwork is something else to look at. If you're watching this and you haven't bought any Crimson Guitars tools, go over to crimsonguitars.com. We make some of the best artisanal luthiers tools in the world. But this truss rod's horrible. Okay, so this is roughly flat. The point of a notch straight edge is it fits in between the frets and allows you to make the fretboard flat before you do any work on the frets. And sadly, I can't actually get this fretboard flat. So it didn't start out. When it was fretted, it was high here and there and there. So that's something else to worry about. And get a fret rocker. This is a 4-sided straight edge. Put it over 3 frets. Once your neck is straight, or as straight as can be. And if it makes that noise, it means that, that was 4 frets. It means that you've got a high fret. And half of these frets, crikey, there's a rock of, or at least 0.5 millimeter on that one. So, these frets have never been leveled. They are nice and shiny and pretty, but this guitar will never play properly until somebody like you or me has gone and leveled the frets and done a heck of a lot of work to make it pretty. I mean playable, sorry. It is pretty-ish. Crikey. Now, look, if I was a struggling artist, again, and somebody offered me this for 150 quid, I would take it with bells on, and ethics be damned. I'm now a guitar maker who has Chinese factories making copies of my guitars for a couple hundred quid, and another Chinese factory has stolen the Crimson Guitars brand name and is selling Crimson guitars in Argentina and Southern America at the moment. Cheap, nasty things. So I sort of understand from the point of view of a manufacturer who's being stolen from, really. And from day one, fakes, ethically it's an absolute nightmare, but it's going to happen. And this isn't the best fake in the world. The best fake in the world you wouldn't notice. I have a friend who made a violin once, and he saw, and a lot of people will want a distressed violin and they'll want it aged and antiqued and all of that. And he was very good at that. And he always put his name inside it, somewhere where you wouldn't really notice. And he had to go to Sotheby's and say, look, this violin, it ain't right. I made that 5 years ago. And it was going for 40 grand. And this isn't that quality of fake. But it is fake enough to confuse a heck of a lot of people. If being asked to pay 150 quid for it isn't evidence enough that it's not real. So, this is an absolute, well, it's a stinker of a guitar. Watch out for what you buy. If somebody asks you for not very much money for something that says Gibson on them, then be careful. If somebody else then tries to sell you a Gibson and it doesn't feel quite right, do your research, look at the catalogues, look at the forums for the photos of the close-ups of other people's instruments, and But most importantly, just open the electronics cavity and see what kind of pots are in there. Because it seems that the people who are faking these things don't know that, you know, if you're going to try and outdo Gibson, well, if you're going to try and sell a fake Gibson, it's got to have the right bits inside. Now, the thing is, I am no fan of Gibson in their current formation. Their quality control sucks. A lot of what they are turning out right now really does. It sucks, and I am a huge Gibson fan. I love the Les Paul. It's one of my favorite instruments, and you know, it's sad. So somebody could buy this and say, well, you know, Gibson are really letting themselves slip, but hey, it's got Gibson on their headstock, and it's really sad. Now, what more can I say? In order to get this playable, we have to do a lot. We have to replace the nut. We have to we have to do a lot of fret leveling. The client brought it in because he wants a Tone Pros bridge put on. And, you know, I must be honest, ethically, I'm wondering whether I should even do this work at all. I feel dirty. I feel dirty just touching this thing. And it is not good. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have got over 100 to date tutorial videos showing you how to build guitars, how to set them up, repairs. We make custom tools. We make tools for guitar builders, sorry, and templates and supply wood and all of that sort of stuff. So I would really appreciate your support in that. Check out crimsonguitars.com and also the forums and the guild, our online guitar building school. And keep your eyes out for fake Gibsons. And if you see them, well, fake guitars of any kind, and if you see them, especially if somebody is selling it, report them. Because, yeah, it's naughty. Or at least tell them that they're being naughty. I don't know. See, it's an ethical minefield. I don't know what to do. Anyhow, this is Crimson Guitars. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. We're out.